Hello, welcome back to the channel. It's winter, which makes me sad. So we're pretty much not riding at the moment because the weather's just absolutely dire. So I needed something to get stuck into. So I wanted some content for the channel, and I wanted to have something to do over the winter months just to keep myself occupied. Now, does anyone here remember the 80s? So back then, we had bikes like this, which is the XJ900. So as I mentioned just a moment ago, I wanted a project, and this is absolutely perfect. It's something that I'm not going to need to spend a huge amount of money on, just time, because mechanically, with the exception of a couple of issues which I'll explain in a moment, she's absolutely fine. And cosmetically, we're not far apart at all of where I want it to be. So I do or have done bike restorations in the past, as you've all seen as ZZR if you've watched any of my other videos. I will be doing a video shortly on that actually, of where it came from, the beginning and the whole journey to get it to actually where it is now. This is going to be the same sort of thing, so across the next couple of months I'm going to be doing bits of jobs to this and some videos and some content to hopefully entertain everybody. Of course, it'll entertain me whilst I'm doing it because I absolutely love this sort of thing, and 80s is such a nice era. 90s too, to be fair, and this is just on the cusp of being a 90s bike, 1 year out. So the good news, things that I don't have to deal with. If any of you have dealt with a 35-year-old bike, one of the first things you do is you have a little look inside the fuel tank, and I can't believe my eyes when I did this. I hope the camera shows it. Pretty much brand spanking new. So this has obviously been stored inside, which is fantastic. So we've got a completely rot-free fuel tank, which is just pleasing. It means I haven't got to take it off, I haven't got to try and deal with it, I haven't got to seal it. I can just run it as it is, which is fantastic news. So, other things that are good news about this bike is she is a runner. Every other bike I've ever owned that hasn't been relatively new has been a non-runner when I've received it. This one, however, runs absolutely perfectly. I won't run it for long because I've got neighbours and I don't really want to annoy them too much, but it runs well, so that I'm really pleased with. It's not all good news, however. The clutch is non-existent. So the bike's been sat for around about a year, and as a consequence of that, I think the clutch plates have all seized. So I'm going to have to get the clutch plate or the clutch cover off, inspect the clutch plate, have a little look what's going on there. Whilst you're doing that, of course, you're draining the oil, so you're giving the bike a full service. I have just ordered, and it's arrived today actually, the gasket for that side, so I can actually make a start now and have a little look at what's going on. The oil should be here hopefully next week, beginning part of, and then I'll know by then whether I need to actually do anything clutch wise to actually repair anything or replace anything. It's not mega expensive, and to be fair, giving a bike a new clutch is never a bad idea. Brakes wise, they bind a little because it's been sat for the best part of a year since it was last on the road. Cosmetically, we're not a million miles away from where I want to be, to be fair. The engine's going to have a little clean up. I'm going to paint a few bits up where I can, polish a few other little bits just to make it look quite nice and quite presentable. Frame wise is really nice. Things like the rear hangers for the footrests, that can all be taken off and painted up. The swinging arm is in really good condition actually. If you'd seen pictures of a Yamaha 535 that I restored, thinking of actually doing a video on that one, it was, wow, an absolute basket case compared to what we're seeing here. So condition wise on this particular bike is actually very good, so I'm very, very pleased. No corrosion on the wheels. Brakes have been binding a little bit as I've been moving it around, so that's going to need to be addressed. And there's just a few sort of cosmetic areas that I want to just sort of tidy up around here just to make it look just that little bit nice. I don't want to detract away from the fact it's a 35-year-old bike. Now the front nose cone is well, it's kind of satin at best really, and you can see the massive difference between there and what you should get on the tank. I dare say with a bit of polish that tank will pop, and I want the same for this. Now I don't think there's going to be any polishing that's going to be able to allow that to be right. So I think the only course of action that I've got is to de-sticker it, flat it all off, give it a respray with a proper air gun, and then go in with some real sort of 2K primer, or sorry, 2K lacquer, just to really get that to pop, because it's the nose, it's the front of the bike. I've also got the lower cowl as well, which is currently sitting in my little workshop. It's not in bad condition, but it does need a little bit of work, so that will get sprayed at the same time. So that will kind of complete the whole look. I'm going to see if I can also get hold of this stripe, which I think is going to be not impossible, and I might need to get it made up, because I believe there's a stripe that should go along here to carry on that line. So, and then where this line comes down connects with the front nose cone or lower cowl. Front end wise, really good. The forks are good, the stanchions are good, fork legs are good, there's no general rot or corrosion anywhere. A couple of brackets and things can be taken off and painted up just to make things pop a little bit. Mudguard's in really good condition, headers are in good nick. Generally it's almost ready to ride, other than the fact the clutch, and you could quite happily ride this as a winter hack. I think the bike's too good for that, to be fair. I think it deserves to be made good, and that's kind of what this channel is all about. It's not all about just doing cars and riding bikes, it's also a little bit about preserving and making them good, and that's something I really enjoyed doing on the last two bikes I've done, which is the Yamaha 535 I did, which was my first one, which I'm going to do a video on shortly, and of course the ZZR, which also was in a pretty poor state when received, and that took best part of 2 years to get to where it is now. The bike's just too good to be a winter hack, and I think by doing this and by restoring it and making it as nice as I possibly can, whether it's myself or the next owner, hopefully is going to really appreciate it, and it might just stop it from being that winter hack that I often see with these kind of bikes, because as I say, they are relatively common. They made a lot of them, and they're never going to be very sort of mega valuable, but she's just too nice to let go downhill. So I think now's the time to save it, and in the next couple of videos you're going to start to see the work that I'm going to be doing. So yeah, I hope you're going to get something out of it. So thanks for watching this little introduction video into the XJ and its place in the channel. There's going to be quite a few videos on this, so if you want to subscribe to the channel and see those videos, then please do. Also ding the bell, because you'll get notifications of when they actually get uploaded, and I'm going to try and upload as many as I can throughout the winter season, as I'm beavering away in my little mini workshop here. Not the biggest of workshop. Oh look, ZZR, lovely. So yeah, feel free, subscribe, like the channel. I really do appreciate it, and I can't wait to see you when I get started working on this.